Hello YouTube, I'm here to show you how to start a lavender bush from a cutting. So if you already have an established lavender bush, this is how you can freely get more plants. Well, pretty inexpensively anyways. So the one thing that you'll need is you'll want to tear off a healthy branch from the bush that you already have. And I mean tear, so break it off, break that baby up so you can see that it's cut like that. And then you're gonna want this. Now you can find this at most Fred Meyer, Walmart, any place simple, Bi-Mart, that kind of place. And this one's a little faded. There's lots of different brands, but it's a potting, a rooting powder that you can get. And these are usually like $5 or $6 for a little bottle, sometimes 4, and they last you for a lot of plants. And you can use these on a lot of plants. So not a big deal to get this, and inexpensively way to make way more bushes. So what you want to do is you want to pull off a green start. Actually, think I have as much success in the summer as I do in the winter, even though I think it's more optimum to do it when it's actually gone dormant and is beginning to grow again, which it is. There's actually these little tips. It's winter here, but it's actually starting to set its new growth out. So I can actually, out of this branch, make more than one, and I'll show you how. So I have just regular potting soil in a container here and a couple of them, and I'm going to put these in one plant. So I'm actually going to take the new growth off the top because the new growth is stealing some of the energy from the plant, and we want it to do. So there's obviously leaves down in here too, but the tips are green and healthy, whatnot, you know. So I'm going to clip those. I'm going to give it a haircut. And I've tried to use these tips before. It doesn't ever start. There's not enough to it. But now that I've clipped those off, straight off, shoot, then I can actually turn this one into more than one. So I'm going to take, this is old growth. There's nothing new growing on here. So I'm actually going to break that off just to get it out of the way to make it simpler. And then I'm going to actually break each one of these little pieces off. So I just broke one off, and you can see that exposed edge there. Gonna break this one off, the exposed edge here on this one, and then I'm gonna leave this one that was the original one. It has a little bigger piece of root, and I'm gonna just clean it up by taking that one piece down. So I'm actually gonna root tone and bury this whole thing down in there, okay? Taking off any extras that are old spent blooms here. So now out of that one broken off branch, I have 3 future plants that I can start. And you can actually be fairly rugged with your original plants and work to, you know, my goal was to actually build up till I had a hedge, and I have a couple different ways I'm doing that, and this way is pretty effective. And so then I simply take the root compound and I dip it down into the powder. You can actually pour a little powder out so you don't introduce contaminants into your original container. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. That's how efficient this girl is. So then you put that down in, let me show you over here. I'll get you turned over and we'll look down at my space here. So you take this, and I'm actually going to put multiple of these in one. I usually poke a hole first, mostly to not knock off the powder. It wouldn't hurt the thing to shove it down in there, but I'm doing that. You can even score more. So I could even score this a little bit more like this and expose just a little bit of that inside part. You don't want to damage too far. You just want to make it so that it's exposed. Take the outside peel off there. Kind of can see that there. And then same thing, you're going to dunk this, take off the spent bloom. This is an old bloom that's not going to have any new growth on it. And then dunk it into the root powder again, the root hormone, and poke the finger down in here, making spot for it in my dirt. Applying it, and then same thing, this is a little bigger piece, so this would probably have benefited if I had done it, but I give it a little shake, give it a nice healthy dose of that powder shown exposed here, and then This one now, I put those two close together since this one has an awkward angle on the bottom that it's going to make his root tone from. And then you go like that. And now when I do that, I usually get, my success is usually not 100%. So So my success with this is usually not always 100%. It's usually like 2/3 or so. So you want to take more clippings than what you would expect to have take, and then be grateful if they all take. Now this can actually sit in your greenhouse even over the winter and just wait, because this will take several months to even prove to you that it's growing. But in the spring, eventually you'll start to get those fresh tips, like something's growing and something's happening. So you just have to wait. And if it never gives you fresh tips and fresh growth, that's how you'll know that it didn't take. So that is how you make lavender bushes from cuttings. And you can, I have even taken cuttings from like my mother-in-law's house or someone else's house before, you know, with permission, you ask, whatever. But it's a great way to increase your herb, and it's a fun way to do it, especially if you have somebody who has different varieties of lavender than you do. Thank you, YouTube, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe.